Everybody, welcome back to Gun Totin' Minnesotan. This is the new Sunwayfoto T3620CSL. It is a carbon fiber tripod with an Arca head and a quick release. I'm going to show you more about that in a little bit. Let me get it set up and then I'll come in a little closer. So I'm 6'5", and this tripod is really tall. Let's take a look at it. One thing I appreciate about Sunwayfoto is that their legs have a lockout and the spring tension is really good on these. So I can stick them out and find a new leg angle if I need to, and then lock it into place. And I can do some interesting things with the tripods. Depending on the ground that you're on, if you're shooting on rocky surfaces especially, you have to get really creative. And I've done that a lot on my channel, especially with shooting rifles from hilltops or up at higher angles. Sometimes I just need to be able to set this up where the feet are not just in a traditional splay. I actually have to change one of the feet and one of the lengths. And this tripod allows me to grab those barrels. It's only a single piece. So it's a single pull on this, and as you can tell, it's pretty tall how it's set up, and having just one to negotiate is really nice because depending on the surfaces that I'm on, I want to be able to go fast, and if I'm in a hunting scenario, I don't have time. If I'm in a competition scenario, I just don't have time to be monkeying around with multiple pulls, so sometimes a single twist is a nice option. These Sunwayfoto heads, they're not all the same way, but they are similar, many of them. This lever right here, this green lever, is your gross control or your large function control. So I can move that around and get quite a bit of angulature if I was going really steep and shooting up, if I'm going down, or if I just need to track with an animal. And setting this green lever right here adjusts how much friction is on the ball itself. And so if I need to track with a critter as it's going, I just kind of feather this back and forth and usually control the rifle. On this head, this is the Sunwayfoto DLC 60. So this plate has a bubble level built into the back, which is really nice. When I'm getting it set up before I throw in a camera or a rifle or anything of that nature, maybe a spotter, I can actually get the head itself to be level. On the side, you can see that there is a QD. The QD has a button release. So when I actuate this, I pull back and then I flick this out, and that opens the Arca clamp. On the other side, I'll go ahead and turn this around. On the other side is where the dial mechanism is, and this is for getting it set up just right so that when you throw your QD, that it clamps down with the proper tightness. So you don't want to crank on this thing. You don't want it to be so tight that you can't close your QD, or so loose that things rattle around. Usually per device and per rail, I try to find a good in-between so that there's a reasonable amount of tension as I'm closing down on that QD. And this is a nice system. It's very, very fast, it's effective, and it allows for lots of movement or versatility between different kinds of Arca rails. Not every Arca rail is machined the exact same way, and you'll find minor specification differences. This allows you to work with whatever Arca rail that you have. Another feature that a lot of people are going to appreciate on Sunwayfoto tripods, a lot of times there's a 3/8 tapped thread right here on the body or the chassis of the frame. So this portion right here, I threw in a 1/4-inch adapter, which usually comes in your bag along with a lot of other goodies like spike feet, which I've already switched out the rubber feet on this one for spike feet. Sometimes I prefer spike feet, kind of depends what I'm going to do with the tripod. These are not extra aggressive, but they do have O-rings. They're very, very easy to install, and the rubber feet are really great too. They're huge, they're wide, and I find appreciation for those. But back to the chassis portion and the insert or the head. This head actually is removable, and so Sunwayfoto does have some ability to switch out components. If you wanted to go with a different head altogether, this will remove, it'll come out, and you can switch from this to another one. Sunwayfoto has so many different heads, and they're all pretty reasonably priced. So if you find that there's another head that's just gonna work better, and you like this leg structure and height, then it's easy to switch out the head and throw in another one with just removing those two Allens on top. A couple of accessories that I always recommend for Sunwayfoto products would be like the rock bags that they sell. There's a variety of them, multicam, black. I've probably run this next product in 10 or 15 videos as well. This is the Sunwayfoto SM86, and what this is a clamp that works really well for your rifles. Now obviously this is way too tall, and because this is a one twist mechanism, I can quickly shore these all up to the same height and make it a little bit more practical for actual shooting or hunting. But I just wanted to show you this. This is something I highly recommend, especially if you're going to be shooting rifles that are non-traditional. They may be, or they are traditional. They don't have ARCA built in. They don't have Picatinny built in. And this clamp allows you to just make your T3620 that much more versatile in the ability to very quickly remove this if you do have something to ARCA in, or if you don't, you're shooting a traditional rifle, wood stock rifle. This clamps down really, really well. It's just an accessory. I'm not going to do much more talking about that, but I wanted to let you know these are two things you'll always see. They didn't come with this package, but I highly recommend them if you're already buying this tripod. As you can see, here's something that doesn't have ARCA built in, and I'm going to throw it on, clamp it down, and now the controls can be operated by just that green lever, and it makes it very easy for me to do what I'm about to do, which is to zero off this tripod. It is that steady that I can trust to zero for something like this PCC. Now I've installed an anechoic 35L can with a 30 caliber end cap on there just to quiet the report of the rifle a little bit, and I'll still be wearing my Bluetooth Intrepids from Warbird just so I can one day hear what a terrible father I was. That's a joke. That's a Father's Day joke. I have a great relationship with my kids. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this leveled out. And now I can zero this rifle from my mount. Again, one thing that's really nice about doing this off the tripod is I'm standing, I'm off the wet ground, and I can put my reticle exactly where it needs to be and make those corrections in real time while I'm looking down range using this Zero Tech, and it holds it steady in place. There's my correction. I can throw this back on and I'm ready to go. One thing I can really appreciate about this is not only the fact that it gets tall enough for a guy like me, but the fact that it has the spike feet which really sink in. So I have some good kind of rooted soil around here with lots of grass, and these spike feet dig in really hard and they prevent this from moving hardly at all. And I know it's going to work on a lot of surfaces like ice and snow, the things I usually have to deal with in Minnesota. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw a few confirmation shots here. It's a pretty smooth operation going between targets, and a little bit of change in height as well. That's why I don't set it up super high. I usually set it up so that when I'm standing, it's hitting me about in the chest, just in case I have a change in elevation. For height of targets, sometimes it's nice to be able to do this comfortably or this comfortably. And if it's too high, you really can't, you have to step on your tiptoes. So just a little tripod tip, I guess, for some of you. The little bit lower stance and spreading your legs, getting wide, actually allows you to use it in more circumstances and scenarios. And the higher you go, it might feel a little more comfortable to stand up taller, but you tend to be a little bit, as you're isosceles to the target, you tend to be a little bit less stable. And then additionally, you just can't get a lot of room for movement this way because you have to get on your tiptoes. So I tend to run it just a touch lower, sometimes even a little lower than what you see right now, and it works out great. Another thing that you're gonna see really often nowadays would be to still use a support bag or a flat bag, something like the mini fortune cookie or the half size game changer, whatever that one's called. And it's a little bit easier when you're not locked into something to quickly rotate and move from there. So at some competitions, like 2-gun competitions, I've actually seen them for really, really long stages, set up a tripod just like this, a good sturdy tripod with at least a 36 millimeter leg diameter, and then put a bag on top of it so that they can quickly move from target to target. And that's a great way to do it as well. And because it has that big head on there, it gives you a nice platform for your bag to grab onto. That's just a little something that I noticed about these particular tripod heads, is they work really well for what I'm doing right there. With a normal tripod that has like pan and tilt built into it, and then it's kind of it sits a little taller than these do. These are somewhat more low profile. Those tend to have a little bit more issue holding onto the bag. But this one allows you to kind of cup your bag over the chassis and the head really well. And I think the bag sits more comfortably on here, which means NRL Hunter, let's say, NRL Hunter guys would maybe appreciate a tripod like this and a head like this because of that one reason right there. Now in the bag, it has a generous size pocket with some of your extras. Now I already said that I replaced the feet. I went away from the rubber feet. These are enormous. They're really stable. They have a pretty good circumference to them, and they have a good bevel to the edges. So no matter what angle you're splaying your legs out at, these are gonna grab well. And I find that they're good density of rubber, so they don't wear out fast. That is something that you have to worry about after you start using tripods, or bipods for that matter, a long time, is the feet do wear out eventually. Then inside this package, you have a Picatinny to Arca converter. I really appreciate that they throw that in there. It's one more thing you don't have to buy for some sort of spotting scopes. There's a few of them that have Picatinny integral to the bottom. And then I can think of a number of rifles where this would be advantageous, like a lot of ARs. If you just don't want a big full piece of Arca and you just want one in the rear or the middle so you can set up your deer hunting rifle on a tripod like that Sunwayfoto, this would be a very useful piece. And then you have some of the extra hardware and a Sunwayfoto branded cloth, which is always included. It does come with a plate. I haven't shown you that yet, but it comes with a plate every time. That's really neat. And then your directions, in case you don't know about the specifications, how much weight it can take, or what the actual heights are. This is something that you might want to look at. The bag has a carry strap on it. It is quite large, but it's not very thick, so it does really well to pack away in the bottom compartment of like a trunk or in your vans, like what I have, maybe a truck bed. The padded case allows for extra accessories. Like I said before, I'm able to attach my tripod as well as the SM86, and it all fits in the bag. There's extra space there for accessories and components that you're gonna need, and so it's very convenient to be able to just carry this to the range or on a hunt, maybe strap it to a bag, and then pull it out right away, and you still have your accessories mounted up on top. Plenty of space inside. There's also a couple of tennis racket style carrying handles here. I usually just use the strap, or quite honestly, I strap the entire tripod to a bag, which is equally convenient for me.